Bobby Parahart, what's Bobby F Parahart, and so bringing him on today. Super pumped. We haven't had Bobby in the house. We haven't chatted like this for a while now, and so I thought it was really time for us to get a frequency upgrade and bring everything into alignment. And as you guys have seen, we've readjusted the name from the Freedom Collective to your Freedom Collective. And I shared this on a train the other day, but I caught up with Bobby and I wanted to get some group names dialed in and things like that. And I said, what about the Freedom Collective, bro? And he goes, sorry, man. He goes, I don't want to say anything, but it's no good. I was like, dude, always fucking say something. Always. Now on, always say something. I said, what's not good about it? He goes, well, it doesn't include business. And it's a very closed knit group. And I'm like, well, that's not what we want for a business that want to grow. We want to have business in there. And we also want it to be an open group where people want to come and join, not like a closed party. And so we ended up changing it to your Freedom Collective. And as Bobby said, it's a party. It's a party. We're all living freedom. We're making money. We're having a good time. So come on down and enjoy the show. Enjoy what we're doing over here. So I really feel that shift. As soon as we changed it, we had things move and change. And so, and one thing that I realized through chatting with Bobby is that bank accounts, business names, all those sorts of things are so important to have them aligned. Because I checked with my company name and he goes, oh, that's a good company if you don't want your money to stick around. I was like, damn it. So I wanted to bring Bobby on just to really speak to that more. And then, I guess bring awareness to it for you guys so we can, for those of you who don't have your name aligned yet, then let's chat about that. And then, going next level is how can I get everything aligned with what I wish to create? So Bobby, man, please drop your wisdom and thanks for being here, bro. Really appreciate the secret sauce and the power that you've added to I keep saying the Freedom Collective, to your Freedom Collective, and to Clint X Morgan and to Christy X Ord and all the other X-Men out there. So yeah, appreciate what you've done, bro.
Dude, love you, bro. Happy birthday. Can you believe this? Guys, for anybody who was here last year this time, this talk was happening on stage. You guys gave me the very first opportunity at a global speaking event. It was an unbelievable experience, one that I hold so truly dear to me. And it's the 1-year anniversary of that. It was a year ago this time that we were doing that. So it was a wonderful feeling that this time around, next year, here we are again. But the vibe has changed. There's now 2 groups here, because there's a group that was here last year that is now has their own teams and teams on teams, and they're growing their organization. And then there's a new group of audience who's like, Bobby, I've never heard this. Oh, that guy with the numbers, I haven't gotten my session done yet. So we really do have 2 conversations. And because I want to respect everyone who's been here, growing their business, growing their organization, and especially, the conversation that you and I had a couple days ago when we went through and just went and found the right name for the right group, for the right part, for the right piece of your business. It got a chance to actually look and see, do all of these things align? Because once you do, you start to notice, I need more alignment. I can't be the only thing in my existence that makes sense. I got to make sure every single piece of this, from my address to the way my credit card shows up, to the way my emails, my email list, all of this stuff needs to actually properly align. So for those of you who have already been down this road, the next generation is either one, we get your team lined up and ready to go for the next generation of leadership, but most importantly, we look to the infrastructure of what your business looks like on the inside of you. So name alignment was just the beginning. Now we get a chance to take a more mature audience, people who have hit 6A and beyond. You guys are in your hundreds of sales. You're in your dozens, or how many, multiple dozens of entrepreneurs. To get them aligned, it's absolutely important, I believe. And even just the way that we had this conversation, when we first talked, we set the tone. And then after that, we started coming back around because you guys changed it to the Freedom Collective. And then our conversation came up. I'm like, you may want to take a look at that. And then your lights went on inside. You're like, we have to look at everything. Nothing is safe. We need to make sure I'm like, man, like, and it's actually interesting. You're not the only person. You're not the only person who's come to me, says, hey, I've got a list of my programs, a list of my products, a list of my team chats. Let's make sure they're all working. And it was funny how you were more or less the first one. A year later, what do my clients, what do my family, you guys look like now? Where are you now? How best to support you now, where you're no longer trying to get over your own shadow? And you're like, look, I've gotten out of the darkness. I'm into the light. I'm actually casting light onto others. What do we need to know? Well, the numerology expands for you there and then. So it's just nuts to think, where are we going? Like, what's going to happen next? And how do we support you guys into the next zone? So this is for, like, you know, you're like, I'm speaking to your top tier leadership. Like, these are, you guys are already clients of mine. Like, you know, we've already worked together. We've already done this. But are you ready to take a technical look, an analytical look at your business now and make sure everything on the checklist is absolutely aligned and divine? Because some of us are still having those issues and challenges as well. I'd like to think that alignment takes one extra step out of the mix and irons you out one step further. But it feels good, doesn't it? Your Freedom Collective. It just sounds, it gives you that feeling that this is a legacy, and this is a family, and this is a growing people that want to help other, like an open, welcoming, hey, with big, huge banners up, that feeling of like, come home, come home to the collective. So for me, I was super blessed and absolutely honored to help you guys name this. And I have been naming teams inside of the team as well too. So it feels like we're doing something together. So I appreciate you guys so much for that. This is gonna be nuts to see what happens in the next year.
And I think, like, you know, like as you're sharing that, like, I've looked back and, like, there's been things that I've definitely consulted you on, like Freedom Fest. We got that dialed in. Our trust, you know, and it was just like a slight change. Like, we wanted to have Clint and Christy Family Trust for our trust setup, and then it was like, no, Clint Family Trust, and you like make it Clint and Christy Family Trust, like have the and in it. And then as soon as we dial that in, then it had the right energy to, like, you know, really create long-term wealth. And also our son, you know, our son's name is Venice George E. Morgan. You know, like, it wasn't by accident that he has that extra E in there, because I just wanted Venice George Morgan. I chatted with Bobby. He goes, dude, he goes, it's good. It's a nice name, but it's like, you could sharpen it up for when his birthday is. And like, Bobby was actually the first person that I spoke to on when Venice was born. I was like, dude, Venice has just come out. Like, it was literally been out for maybe an hour. I was like, dude, okay, this is the date of his birth. We need to get his name dialed in. What are our options? And he goes, cool. I knew it was Venice George Morgan, and what we need to do to adjust that. And we did that. And man, he's a super powerful dude already. And, you know, now he has a name that's aligned with that. So, you know, it's just like, and you know what I did the other day, bro? I went through, like, my online banking statements. I still haven't changed my company name yet, because that's a bit of a process. But I just went to, like, my online banking, and, you know, you can name your bank accounts. So, like, okay, cool, got them dialed in with, like, you know, Freedom Power and, you know, like the company name that you suggested, and put those in there. So it's like, you know, they're all aligned as well. So it's like, you know, like, you guys that have done it with your names, excellent, you know, but have you done it with your company names, your trusts, your bank accounts, you know, your children's names, you know, like, there's so many things that we can come into alignment. And I really feel like, and once we then start talking, Bobby, I know you want to talk now to the people that have just gotten started or have come in, haven't actually worked with you, haven't had their name aligned. In a moment, I'd love to just share briefly, like, what happened to me when you gave me the X and I adopted the X. But yeah, it just makes such a profound difference. And I really feel that, like, doing this stuff and having this, you know, our team work with you to get their names dialed in and come into alignment, it's sort of like, it has given us a superpower. It's a secret sauce. You know, obviously there's more elements that's changing your name. You need to do the work, you need to show up, you need to take action, you need to do the inner work. But it's like, you know, if that's out of alignment, you're doing those other things, that it's not going to stick and it's not going to work to the effects that you want. And this is just one little thing. Doesn't really take much energy. You don't need to do much different, but it makes a profound difference on your life and the results that you get. So I invite you for your own, you know, you know, it's up to you. Do you know what I mean? But, like, you know, I know that by me helping the team and giving this to you guys, it's going to empower my organization and your Freedom Collective. And then it's going to help you power and have the best chance of results in your own business. So it just makes sense to me. So I just wanted to bring Bobby out and I guess share those insights for you guys, and have a call for the guys that have had it done and going, okay, what's the next level? How many layers can we do with this? So maybe do you want to talk now to the guys that are just getting started or haven't seen Bobby or don't know who the heck you are, and they're like, what's this freaky X-Man dude talking about? Let's speak to the guys.
Yeah, I get this one a lot. Everyone's like, hey, can you tell me a little bit about what's going on and how this works? And basically we have a conversation to have. And I'm talking to you right now. This is the person who hasn't had this done yet. And you hear everyone saying, what is this? And how come everybody's talking about this? Why is Bobby so great? And this, that. I'm like, it's not me. It's the fact that it's you. It's your life, your conversation is about to go down. And when I get a chance to read that to you, it's an honor on my behalf to be of value to you. But it's more of value to you to know who you truly are underneath yourself. So when I look at this, the first thing I'm going to see is your birthday. We're going to take a look at how these concepts play in your life. Then we look at your name. How well do you play to these concepts? Do they work towards you, or are they going to work against you, or work in a way that feels like, shoot, I can't quite make this happen. I can't quite communicate my power. I can't quite like say what I need to say or feel what I need to feel. It's a lack of authenticity or integrity. This is what this conversation looks like, to actually show you where that is so that you can grow forth in life without having to sacrifice on who you are, and absolutely have full awareness on the things that make you who you are. So when we're looking at this conversation, part of it is the name, part of it is the letter, part of it is dressing you up, but a part of it is looking inside of the toolkit. It's looking inside the closet. It's looking inside the drawers and seeing what type of inventory are you bringing with you to life. Does your name work for you? Do you have a really large destiny, and then the name you use today is like not letting you approach that power? Or maybe you know what you need to do, but then something is holding us back. Or everything looks like it's great on the outside, but on the inside there's this self-worth or part of the challenge of the self that says, I can't quite communicate that. So whatever direction it is that needs to be, it's like shooting in the dark if you're just playing it by yourself. But seeing it in your numbers, we illuminate everything, and you stop banging yourself on the furniture of your life, on this open mess inside of your existence. We get to clean it up a little bit. And not to say everyone's messed up, but I mean, we're all kind of messed up. And that's what happens as an entrepreneur. You're like, screw it, I'm too messed up for this system. I'm going to go and be an entrepreneur. And we don't recognize when we get into this journey that being an entrepreneur is like putting all your shit up front so that you have to deal with everything that's been blocking you in your life so far in order to become successful. That's why a lot of people don't make it. That's why a community like this is amazing, because you get encouraged to be authentic in you, and then everyone embraces you for that. So to know this is like that whole personal achievement, personal development. This is personal discovery in a very spiritual tone. So there's two components to your reading. One would be the new, cool looking, nifty name we come up with. And the other one is the story that you've been waiting to hear, the fairy tale of your own existence. I promise you, it's the most important thing. I love saying it's the most important thing that you're ever going to learn in your life, is to know what you've got, know who you are, and know that there's nothing wrong with you. And to even look, I was just talking about this earlier. I was interviewed on a podcast earlier today. I'm getting interviewed on podcasts, guys. This is so cool. It's nuts. But earlier today, we're talking about this self-healing journey, that what we get to do through numbers is look at where you've been as a kid and see how the world squished on you, whether it was parents or teachers or friends or even yourself, peer pressure, the times you grew up in, the circumstances you grew up in. It was like a crunch to who you are. And the entrepreneur survived somehow because we're all in this group together. But something got crushed in there, and we want to go back and actually do a rescue mission for the true child, the inner beauty, the inner child inside of you can flourish again. So you have this beaming excitement energy that people are like, I don't even know what you're selling, but can I buy that? Because they just love to be around you, as opposed to the energy's like, what if they reject me? And what's the perfect response to say to someone? And they get caught in the details. And I get skill set is very powerful, but soul set, mindset, it trumps what, like, you could say the worst thing ever and have the best energy behind it. Like you don't have to be polished. You just have to be authentic. And that's where we have a challenge. Some people will be super polished, no authenticity, and this because they're afraid of who they truly are. That's why this conversation gets you to know, like, and trust yourself in a really, really big way. So I'm like, for me, it's just super, super powerful because, you know, people are giving me tears after, and they're like, the referrals pile in. Everyone's like, you got to see Bobby. And I'm like, wow, I'm actually making a difference in the trajectory of you know, entrepreneurs and people in our lives. So it's pretty cool. I would really say it's a must recommend. And for anybody who wants to work with me, I definitely recommend it. But if you guys are watching, and I can't see the comments, but there are people here who have had their session, tell them, tag your teams, put them in the comments, let people know. It just like don't leave me in the woods here alone. You know, Clint's here putting his stamp on this. I want to see all the other leaders that have gotten a chance to work with me. Give us the tweet, put it down there. Let people know that there is something of value inside of reclaiming the power of yourself inside of this conversation, for sure.
So that's epic, man. So that's it's a couple people asked in the chat, like, what's the significance of the X? And I'll share my story and my experience and why I'm so like such an advocate of this work and having this done. We've got about 10 minutes. I need to wrap it up at 10:30. And then one thing I just want to mention before I go into that is like one thing that we did, and the people that like our leaders in the community will know that I adjusted the name of our groups, and I've noticed a shift. Like even as soon as I change it, people are like, oh, I feel that. Like I went from like 4A chat to the freedom leader shift, and everyone's like, whoa, you know, I feel that. Whoa, that's nice. And like the energy in there has been completely different to how it was in the past. So just those tweaks, just the fucking name change. You know what I mean? It's not hard. You don't do anything different, right? That allows you then the right space so you can show up and have the right. It's like having the right community. You know, that's why your Freedom Collective is so powerful. It's like you have the right people around you. It's like having the right energetic container within your being so you can show up and be your best version of yourself. So me and the X. So I'll just briefly bullet point tell the story because it's I can have the long version or I can have the short version of this, and I'll bring the short version. But it was a couple of years ago. It was before we started GAZ, now AI, and I was on a live, or maybe I just sort of started it. Anyway, I was on a live video. Oh no, sorry, I was on Facebook, and then Bobby jumped online, right? And he's doing a live video, and I'd met Bobby maybe a year before that at a Nagic convention. He was in Balage's downline. We connected. We had a chat over there. And I saw him going live. I was like, oh, Bobby. I was like, haven't seen you in ages. I just jumped on. And he was talking about numerology. And I was like, I'd known about numerology. I'd been to numerology sessions. I knew what my life path number was, this and that. I'd had my name done in numerology. And he goes, drop birthday, do a free reading. And so I dropped my birthday and just curious, but I was also like, he's not going to tell me anything I don't know. And anyway, so he goes, man, awesome. And this is your birthday. I was like, yeah, whatever. I heard all this, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, your name doesn't align with what you want to create in your birthday. I was like, excuse me? My name doesn't align? I was like, who the fuck are you to tell me my name doesn't align? You know, I was like super resistant. I was like, this guy's a joke, you know? And then anyway, I was chatting back and forth, and he goes, once Balaz put the W in his name, right, it changed the game for him. And then I was like, actually, Balaj does have Balaj W Cardos. I was like, what the heck's with that initial? And then he goes, what I suggest for you is putting an X or an F. And I'm like, an X? You're crazy, bro. You want to put an X in my name? And anyway, so I was like, I messaged Balaj. I was like, dude, I said, Bobby's telling me to change my name, put an X in it. He goes, whatever Bobby tells you, absolutely do it. He's on point. It will change your life. When I did it, it changed everything for me. I'm like, oh, okay. Here is a mentor, and I've seen Balaj, you know, the growth that he's had and the vision that he's had, and he's been able to embody, and the results that he's had in the years that I've known him. I'm like, okay, if Balaj is saying this is on point, then I'm going to listen now. Anyway, so I had some more conversation with Bobby, had another conversation with Balaj, and he told me like the backstory of like when he changed his name. Prior to that, he felt like he'd always had a bit of a ball and chain. He'd try so hard to create results, but nothing really would come off the ground. And once he put the W in there, that's when like GPM took off. He started getting all the results. He hit -3. All these amazing results happened in his life. And then when he made it actually legal was when Gaz started, right? And then it took off even next level, right? So I was like, okay, cool, I'm listening. All right. And then I chatted with Bobby. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this X thing a go. I'm just going to try it on, see how it feels. And that's what he said. He goes, just try it on, see how it feels. He goes, just do it on social media. That's all you need to do. Change your social media name. I'm like, all right, sweet, let's give it a go. And I remember the day clearly. I was in next Mexico, right? When I changed it on social media. The strangest thing, I was like, I thought everyone would be reaching out going, Clint, what's with your name? Like, what's with the X? No one said a freaking thing. No one said anything about the X. Like, no one ever mentioned it. No one picked it up. And I was like, is anyone going to like notice the X? But the strangest thing happened within like, I'd say like we were in Mexico and then we flew back home. Literally by the time we landed, I was feeling different already. I was like, wait a second. I feel like in the past, I was sort of like, I felt like I could create success, but it was, and that's what Bobby said with my name, it'd be very up and down. I'm like, yeah, that's my experience. It's up and down. You have it and you lost it. You have it and you lost it. And that'd been my life. And then when I put the X in, I was like, you know what? It was like a sense of clarity and certainty. I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm creating success, which I'd had that feeling in the past, but I now feel like it's permanent. Like I feel like I have the ability to actually create what I want to create. And I don't have any doubt around that, you know? And so because of that, can you imagine if you feel that way? Because I know a lot of people listening going, yeah, I'm a bit uncertain, you know, like, is this going to last? Like, am I going to create results and it's going to fall off? You know, is the whole world going to fucking implode? Like all these sorts of beliefs that you have rattling around your head. Imagine if all of a sudden, just by putting an extra initial in your name, you're like, wait a second, I can do this. You know, just that in itself, I was like, I can do this. And I started showing up differently. And that was when we came back to Australia. We did the first Freedom Blueprint Mastermind, we called it back then, Freedom Mansion Mastermind. We had our first event. We launched the Australian webinar. And you guys, those of you who have heard the story, we changed the game in terms, I can't talk about the income that we created, but it was crazy compared to what we had. And, you know, the results have now, we've got a team of over 3,500. A lot of that is due to that, the name, I honestly, hand on heart, believe that. And also too, because of our then team, because also like, holy shit, this really changed my life. And then if you look around at all the leaders, you know, they all have either an X or an F or some sort of initial, and some don't. That's because they've had it aligned, their name's legit, how it is, right? It's serving the purpose of what they want to create. But I really feel that is a big contributor to the success that we've had. So, you know, I urge you, like, Bobby, I want you just to sort of touch on now for the next couple of minutes how people can book in with you to do a session, because I highly recommend it, hand on heart. And also to, when we last week when we did that, like a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was, we did a session and he touched in the next few years and he's like, whoa, like I got off that call and we looked at the names of like our groups and things like that. Like I was like, man, I feel, whoa, like I was blown away and just felt so empowered. And Bobby said to me, he goes, dude, if you ever doubt, you said something like, don't ever doubt yourself again. He goes, the numbers don't lie. And I was like, whoa. And I got off that call. I was so freaking excited. And I was trying to like express it to people, but they didn't really get it, you know, because it was my internal excitement and knowing and feeling. And so, man, you just book it in. So Bobby, do you want to talk about like how they can book in a session?
Yeah, best way to do this right now, guys, is just to connect with me over Facebook, message me. My site, bobbyfperryhard.xyz. You can go there right now and book your session if you want to. For the leaders, if you're thinking it's time for my group session and you're ready to put a group of your guys through this at the same time, let's organize that privately. But if you do, it's nice to just connect first and then make sure your vibe is right and you really want this, and then we can just book a session manually. But right now it's fast filling up. So I'm basically almost to the end of my August right now. I'm in a place where I'm basically almost booking a month ahead. So I'm like feeling pretty good that like you guys are keeping me pretty busy. But if I can do group sessions for you, we can get started on the alignment now. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things right now is just messaging me on personal social media. Just my Facebook is the fastest way to get a hold of me. And love hearing that story, man. And love seeing you soar. You're a giant. You're a dragon. Like it's not stopping. Like you're only getting started. It's nuts.
And that was a cool thing going, nice, warm up. But that's how I feel. I'm like, you know, it's been amazing. And I'm like, and that's why, like, you know, I guess, you know, not coming from a look at me boasting sort of way, but going, guys, you know, I know where I'm going and what's happening. And it's like, you know, feel confident in the leadership that you have, that we're going some awesome places and it has just begun, and we're going to create more success, more freedom, more time, more abundance, more self-expression, you know, than any other community in the world. So I'm really excited about what's happening, and, you know, this is all part of it. So if you feel called, you know, obviously it needs to feel aligned. If you like, there's something in this call going, yep, I need to do this, then trust that, you know, trust that guidance, book in a call with Bobby. And I look forward to, I've never heard a bad thing about it. Everyone's like, fuck man, this guy's on point. Like the game changes that hour that we spent with him or however long you spent with him really had some profound shifts and wisdom. So you won't be disappointed. So Bobby, maybe if you just go onto the Facebook and drop it in the chat.
I will.
Yeah, and I can put it in the text of the post as well, so you guys can go under there.
Yep, sweet. We're on here right now. Cool. Yeah, I will. I'll make sure I put that in there for you guys.
Champion.
Sweet.
Bye, dude.
Love you, dude.
Thanks, Bobby. Love you too, bro.
We'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.
Collective. Chat soon. See you guys.
Bye.